A place to call your own. A place
Good morning and welcome to Sun Up on 7. As always, before we get into the heat of Couch Talk, we have to bring you the weather, and it's courtesy of the Belize Met Service.
In Belize, an east to northeasterly airflow prevailing. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for sunny skies today with a few cloudy spells, and high temperatures today are forecast to reach 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 96 inland, and 82 over the mountains. Tonight, skies will be partly cloudy with low temperatures of 79 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 70 inland, and 66 in the higher elevations. Showers will be generally isolated. Expect afternoon or evening thunderstorms to develop over the mountains and inland areas. The winds will blow from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state will be slight. A high tide will occur at 7 minutes past 7 this morning, followed by a low at 1:38 in the afternoon. Another high occurs at 7:40 tonight and a low at 1:40 a.m. The sun will set at 16 minutes past 6 this evening and rise again tomorrow at 5:21. The moon rise at 3 minutes past 6 this afternoon and set at 3:24 tomorrow morning. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for fair weather to prevail with only isolated showers. In the sargassum forecast, the chance that more sargassum mats will continue to affect our beaches during the coming days will remain high. And in the fire forecast, the risk for forest and bushfires will continue to be high over the next 24 hours. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
Great. So, isolated showers. You get showers this morning,
Yes,
Tiana?
I was super happy. I got it early this morning as well. And then I got it again a little bit later this morning. So I'm getting the showers. I know you never get from your area, but it's okay, honey, but I get for me and you,
Yeah.
My plants are happy because they look a little dryish.
So you know what's your plans then?
You know what? Let's get into couch talk. I don't want to talk about my lack of their green thumb.
I want you to do something for me. Make
My
the
snake,
link.
no,
Make
my
the
snake
link.
plant's still alive though. Remember from when the young lady came on about her different plants and all of that, and the sargassum that they were making, and all of that.
Well,
That
it's a succulent, so
Yeah, so
not much
it's
water
still
needed there.
alive. No, that's my type of plant. So
But-
I need that.
But all right, so there is one for me. Bread and Red Cross. Link them two together for me.
You know what I have to say is super interesting about that story. If anybody did not catch that last night on the news, they were interviewing the Minister of the Blue Economy, talking about, his family owns a franchise when it comes to a bakery. And as you know, flour has gone up by 10%. And people have been, speculating. Bakeries, many people have felt that already before. They just jump the whole gun and they say, you know what, we'd raise price without anybody tell we anything because we take the pain. Wheat production too expensive. Everything is going up. We need to raise the price. So what I find was interesting, before we even get to any linkage, Brandon, I just want to know when bread done me 150 because I really want somebody to tell me that when bread done me 150 because the minister, I don't know if he made a mistake and he meant to say 250. I don't know what he meant to say something there.
I ain't know, because last time I remember bread done at 150, I made it high school.
Some loaves, some loaves of bread are 150, but that's the loaf that has not been cut. So the sliced bread normally they range from like $1.75 to maybe $2 depending on the type of bread. Sometimes it's actually $2.25 to $2.50 if it's like one of those thicker white sliced bread. But we didn't go into wheat bread because wheat bread is a whole different Tara.
Well, I can't join in this conversation because I don't eat like packed bread like that. I can't tell you the last time I bought bread, and if it was,
it's just
it was
an
a wheat
easy,
bread.
quick fix thing. You go make a sandwich, you do what you want with it. For me, I actually could make like cinnamon roll things with bread. It's
What?
interesting. It's a whole thing I saw from TikTok. It's really cool though. You get soft bread, cut off the slice, roll it, and then you paste with butter, the cinnamon and stuff, and then you fry it. And it's actually really good.
Isn't that like French toast? Though?
Yeah, but it's cinnamon toast. So it's like
Crunch.
a cinnamon roll thing.
But yes, so the linkage for me now.
So,
Because Miley Boy says something where I just laugh.
why you don't laugh at exactly?
Because it said the bakers aren't red cross. We not to give any, donations or contributions.
No,
like
in
that.
my mind, I feel like he's trying. I think there was two ways because he wears the hat of course, somebody that owns a franchise, that owns a business that deals with baking, and he said the pain of like not having any price raise for 13 years has really been something. I don't really know about that directly. Maybe that's like the general price maybe hasn't been raised, but I know for a fact that you go to many places and they raise their price per their own honey buns. Like
that's the thing. So when he said 150 for bread, I'm like, but the last time I remember I buy bread, it was like $2, $1.75 to $2. So I'm like, 150. What part he made to get bread from? I know I know San Pedro. I know San Pedro.
Pedro bread are like $4.
Oh, yes.
But you know what? We ain't getting into that conversation. My thing is, I can understand the bakers. But I also understand the public. I think this is just like, again, one of those situations where it's hard to gravitate. People will feel the pain of it, just like when the fisheries, when we have to raise the ounces because of what we signed on to. But again, I think now it's just for people. People say if you need, but to be honest, remember flour still raised up by 10% too. So yes, I know there are different avenues, but I know somebody had given me a comment about how about the people when have no time for need, like they're like on the go work, they reach back like maybe 7, 8 o'clock, so
got family for feed,
and they don't have time for need, they don't have time for make that flour raise, all of that stuff there, because it's convenient for certain people that can need, but not everybody can need. And so I know that is an option, that is a substitute that we can look at, but also we have to be paying mind to people that don't have the opportunity, that don't have that time. And buying bread is just a simple, quick way that people can be able to feed their children, feed themselves.
Even growing up, I mean, just buying a pack of noodles.
And noodles expensive.
And noodles gone up.
Raymond's are like $1 right now for one pot. Yes, it went from 50 cents to 75 cents to $1. And that's a whole pile. I think there are some places where have it for more expensive than that.
I think it's because I live under a rock now, because I get in touch with the realtor, so I live underneath a rock. I don't know these things that happen.
Yeah, things are really going up, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people are frustrated, because your pay is basically the same thing. Everything is going up, and so it's hard to sustain yourself. And remember, people have families. We're not just talking about single people. We don't have financial responsibilities. They have school. They have to put clothes on their children's back.
Right.
And sometimes they have more than one child, maybe 2, 3, 4. So, and then you have the whole household for deal. Maybe a single parent too as well, so that you want to do it. You have to think about all these different aspects, and so it's hard. It's a hard time. I won't directly just blame the government for every single thing, because I think that's...
It can't. Everything's going up.
Everything is going up.
All over the world, they go up.
Exactly. So we have to also take that into consideration. And then it's now for us as a population to see what we can do less of, how we can maneuver, what substitutes we can do, and what works for us. Because what worked for you, Brandon, now worked for me.
I know that, yeah.
And so it's hard, but with now the prices are going to go up, guys. And so we have to maneuver and see how we are pushed through it.
So with that, I mean, moving on into our next topic for Coach Talk, Silk Caye. Silk Caye, they met up yesterday, and apparently it was a huge success. Everybody they out there, and they're talking about, you know what, when we came in, it was just positive energy. Everybody had a time to speak. Everybody's concerns were listened to. There were so many solutions that were given. So all the residents from the Placencia Peninsula, as well as Monkey River, their concerns were heard and their concerns were met. So what came out from the meeting yesterday was that the Ministry of Blue Economy, because the minister was there and the CEO, Kennedy Caye, was there, but they met and they agreed to a short-term, an immediate fix or remedy of the Silk Caye dilemma that's happening right now. And they're starting apparently next weekend. But the residents will be out there again, but they will be monitored this time by personnel from the ministry to ensure that everything is carried out good. What also erupted from that meeting is that they have been developing a long-term strategy in order to preserve Silk Caye. So this is something that all residents who came out that day and helped with the renovation, or not the renovation, but the rebuilding of Silk Caye, they are like rejoicing right now, right?
It's a happy day. It's a proud
It
day.
is. And also, Monkey River, they will be starting something around there as well because of the massive erosion that has been happening. So people just have a lot to rejoice about right now because here we are, ministry taking action. But, I mean, I just want to talk to the Belizean population about this. I've seen some of the comments and I'm like, really, man? Oh, village council elections, they come up. They want to do this, they want to do that. Oh, no, can't give the people they want a break, man? Like, seriously, this the one win for our country of Belize and you to talk about, oh, village council this or elections that. Stop it. For God's sakes, man, stop it.
And that's the thing sometimes. Why, in the midst of everything good, you always have a couple people who just want to be that person when they pick can go on and say all kind of negative comments. Can we just take the win for once and just have it as that? And for people what they said about time, they do this. Yes, I get the frustration. Yes, I get it's upsetting. This should get you a long time. But guess what? We're here now, and let's not focus on the fact that it took forever to get here. Let's focus on the fact that we're here. What are we doing now? How are we involving the community? Everybody's moving on with a happiness, because they've been finally heard. There's going to be something proactive happening, hopefully next week, you said. And with that, let's just take that good news and run with it instead of say, let's go pick everything when it go wrong around this overall situation or possibilities when we don't even have anything concrete to say that that or that.
Exactly. And then here's another dynamic to it too. And I want, again, to speak to the Belizean population. Here we go. This is a perfect example of when we gather together and speak up against our government or ask them to take action. Here is a perfect example of that actually happening. So if one of the ball about this and that, when we get together and when we speak up, then we'll have to listen to one, because remember that we vote them in.
People need to remember that we have to hold them accountable, that we have to make the stances. And again, I go back to this thing where we can't sit around waiting for an organization to do the work for us, for our government to do the work for us. If we have any kind of social responsibility, if we have any kind of means in which we can gather a movement, gather some people that have the like mind of ourselves and go and push for something as this, it doesn't have to be just about the environment. Whatever it's about, maybe it's about something to help young people get jobs and create that, or something towards sports or crime, or looking at helping community development with something involving the police officers, and you add that into it. Let's stop reminding, or let's stop depending on everybody to come up with a solution for we. And maybe if we have somebody we know what to do or think along the lines what to do, let's support that. Let's support that initiative, guys. This is how we move on as a country now. Stop depending on everybody. We need to do it by ourselves sometimes too.
And that's what exactly the residents of the peninsula did.
They did. And
I
commend
look at them now.
Commend them.
There you go. Congratulations to that meeting, that successful meeting yesterday. And all the best. I mean, can't wait for that Silk Key to know.
Yes, no. We're going to see what's going to be happening because improvements are definitely going to be made. If
Definitely.
nothing else, the villagers there are going to definitely make sure it happens. So, if nothing else. And as we're moving on, sorry, when I think about lands, I don't know why, I always laugh about it because I feel like
It's no laughing matter. Have you been there?
My mom has, and she always gives me the dire stories of everything there, but I laugh because when I think about lands, I directly just relate it to corruption. Like, I honestly directly just relate it to...
It is the hotbed of corruption.
Exactly. So I directly just relate it to corruption because of the favors and all the things that happen, the slow processes. So we had Minister Cordel talk about, how he's trying to revamp and clean up things, make things better, with having like a mobile that we can be able to take land to a different part where we don't have people to waiting at these long lines, but we're going to be able to address the amount of people that come in, whether it be 100, because he was talking about they have like 100 people the day that he got the interview. And so his stance is how a lot of times the reason there's corruption is because of the slow processes that take place when you're applying for land. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason would be also that some people, because they can't afford it, they buy up a lot of land, and then what happened to the other smaller man who can't afford it, where he get left with? Because if you could buy up 20 acres or 5 acres or whatever it is, what happened to the smaller man where can't buy up that or so, like he get left out because you buy up everything just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so now they're looking at how they can be able to maneuver
yeah.
through that, monitor and see, who's buying up all the big bulk of land. We can't be giving up so much land to people, as well as speeding up this process of having it. Now, again, a lot of people...
That should be very interesting, because we don't know that some of the same elected people, they have so much land for themselves, their granny, their sister, their uncle, their auntie, pet dog, everything like that. So it should be nice to see.
I
how that
believe
goes.
people, when it comes to land, I feel like it's such a sticky situation, because there's so many people that just want land and they want to develop it and they want to just create a home for themselves, right? And they don't get the opportunity. Sometimes you pass and you just say the amount of line people that stand up and wait, and they could stand in at that line for all day and they could still not get served. Nothing could happen. I remember there was a time where they sent in like an electric form where people could try to apply for the land and everything from that. Anything happened from that? Song really like things that happen that much, because I talked to a friend who said she may apply and she's like, I don't hear nothing about it at all. And that like months and months ago she applied. And I'm like,
I must commend them. They brought back the online application process.
That's what she did, but
for registration of lands, like transfers and things like
Okay.
that. So I am so grateful that I don't have to go the lands department
just to stand
anymore.
in a line for so long.
No, and you see the thing is, and people out there that have visited the lands department, you will agree with me when I say this. When you go to lands department, you know that you can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You go to lands department and A want to take up your entire day. You need to plan one next day for B, you need to plan a next day for C, D, and throughout the thing. But now, hearing about this online thing, because I get one pretty email. They say this won't be the new process.
Ooh!
Imagine I get one email from the lands department. How unheard is that? So, yeah, I get one nice email to say how online applications are beginning again.
The only thing, and I'm all supporting on online, right? I understand that. Please don't think as a young person, I don't know how we supposedly love online. My only thing is, always with those processes, you still have to make sure for the older people where they struggle in technology, you have that fear. So you can't expect everything to happen. So you could still go in and be able to do the process. So for people out there that are hearing this and say, what? I have to do online now, honey bun, calm down yourself. It's okay. You can still go in. I mean, it will be a whole day thing.
Yes.
You can do both. You can either have maybe somebody help you at home with that process to maybe your grand picnic or neighbor or somebody help you with that process.
You could jump in on the line and you go online, submit, and they accept it, and then you just pass it straight through. Nah, it don't work that quick. I know that, but...
you think so. But my thing is, there's a hope I'm having right now that this new way of cleaning up, revamping, and seeing how it can work faster, we'll see what happens there. My thing is always, but we're going to see what happens there. I know I'll knock it and say, no, it's not going to happen. But I also want to see the results too, because people know that the process is long. And that is the reason why people call in favors. People spend so much money. People spend that money to get what paper moved and whatever it is, get something signed off. That's why people spend the money. They spend the lands most of the time if they have the money to spend, because that's the next thing there. So we want to see if this is going to be able to go as fruitful as the minister has said. Let's wait and see. Let's not go up in the fence and say, quickly, this now will happen, blah, blah, blah. Let's give it a chance. And then if it does backfire, then we go. But if it doesn't, let's remember that, these processes take time too as well. There's a lot of people in our country where they try to apply for land. So even if we're moving around in like a mobile clinic that allows for this, do understand it's still going to be a big process, because 100 people that did a lot still.
Yes.
That's a lot still.
It's a lot.
So you are still expected to do a one-day thing, but it's just easier now that maybe you don't have to go all the way to do it. So yeah, we'll have it maybe the convenience of your district or so. Yeah, so at least that there is something. So let's look at the positive along the way, guys. I did try my best to make we stay positive in the midst of all the craziness what happened. Let's find the happiness in it, right?
Another happy story.
Happy story!
Yeah, Mr. Program Park is finally open. And that has been in the works for some time.
Yeah.
And we know the unfortunate halt of it due to the murder of another music artist. But yesterday, Honorable Karim Musa opened the park in the Kelly Street area to honor Mr. Gilbert Alamia. Yes, better known as Mr. Program. And he was giving some of the highlights of his time with Mr. Alamia, talking about, he was on the unfortunate night that he passed away. He was of such a spiritual high. He was such a energetic music artist and giving out good music to people and things like that. So there yesterday, was the opening of that park. Finally, Mr. Program Park. Yeah.
So if anybody is in the area or want to go and check it out, by all means, there's a beautiful mural too as well. You can go take pictures. It's a nice park. And again, another place where families can come together in remembrance of the amazing artists that we have here that have passed, that have left legacies, that try to promote positivity in our country. And so let's commemorate and remember these lives and also try to support that we don't have any more unfortunate incidents, you know, supporting our people. And another idea of supporting our people,
Yeah.
last week, I think it's
Yes,
last week. Yes, because I did try to keep track of the weeks so they go fast.
It'll go fast,
Like it's
yes.
already it's already mid of May. You realize that, right? Know what I mean? Okay. So we have Alexander Evans that came on. He was the first ever Belizean to participate in the Panograma, which is a soloist steel pan competition, really. And so not only is it amazing that he's the first ever Belizean, but we had mentioned that he finalized, or he was in the semifinals. He
right.
came in 9th out of, I think it was 20 people for the semifinals. There was a lot of people that participated. And so he came in 9th out of all of them. He did an amazing Afrobeats mix. Right now, he's asking that people kind of support, because you know in these competitions, they always have stuff for how you could vote for people.
Right.
So he's asking if people can please vote for him for People's Choice as well as Best Dress. And so the way you do that is you go on Panograma, which that's PANOGRAMA, right? And that's the FB or the Instagram page. And with that, you can be able to go and like and vote for his name. So it's really interesting on the Instagram one, I did it, right? And so they're gonna be like saying their names. And so it says Alexander Evans and it has his Belizean flag, and you go there and you like the name. And that's basically how you get it for the most part. There's also the way of the website that you can go to as well if you don't want to do all of that. So there's www.panograma.com/vote. And so you can be able to go and vote. So remember, it's for People's Choice as well as Best Dress. And so support our Belizeans. He's gonna do our next rendition. And we're gonna be finding out about that too as well when that comes. But go and support, guys. You can actually see his performance too as well. It's on that Instagram page, on the Facebook page, or
And
also
YouTube.
on his page, and it's on YouTube as well. So go and see. It's totally amazing. Support our 501 Excellence. This is what we're first time in a competition, guys, and we already make waves. That really speaks of, you know, the level of talent that we have in this country.
I see that the semifinals are May 29th.
Oh, yes.
So that's gonna come up as well. So people, stay tuned. Vote for Alexander Evans.
Go and vote, guys.
Support.
It take nothing out of your day if you go vote for something. Like, it's really a simple thing. You know, to pay no money. All you have to do is that you use the good internet from after your work where you know your teeth in there. And then also, you could do it from the data where you maybe buy because you have to go up on the street and you still want to stay connected, whatever it is. And you go and you like, okay? What you don't laugh for? You know that true. You know that true.
That's why work block these things, you know.
And that's why people buy data for these things. Anyways, so with that, we come to the end.
My sunrise,
then I use your sunrise, but you have not made the cut, my friend.
Fine.
You have not
Quite
made the
fine.
cut, my friend.
You're not salty
It's
today
okay.
at
Drink your water
all.
and mind your own business. And so with that, guys, we're gonna go to our first commercial break. We have a beautiful sunrise for you. I don't know who it's courtesy of. I think
Good happy fun.
I don't know who it's courtesy of. It just looks
Happy.
good, but. Oh, that Jules. Well, not
Of
Jules again,
course,
because yesterday
of
that
course.
Everett one, today that Jules one. So we just share it.
It wasn't Everett's one. Somebody sent it into Everett, and if you looked at that picture, it was an old picture of
Oh, yes.
the split.
Yeah, so he's 17, so we just to give the idea that he's 17, and that's why he take the picture of it, okay? And then we have the Jules take this one. We don't even know right now at this present moment. People
Yes,
don't
it's
take
a
credit.
Jules, it's a
Okay,
Jules.
yes, but Jules
It's a
could probably just 17. We don't know. Anyways, what we do know is we must
don't
go
know,
to
like,
a
the
commercial
check me for
break.
fire, you know.
We must go to a commercial break. Thank you very much, Brandon Usher. And
Oh, you know my name now.
with that, we'll see you back here, and we're going to be diving into the conversation of scholarships, particularly with Social Security Board. So stay tuned for that exciting conversation for opportunities, and you got to take advantage of it all. So parents, teachers, children, everybody, stay tuned. We'll be right back.